Hey everyone, welcome to the Build Insight podcast. My name is Luke. I'll be your host today, joined by my co-host Dean, who's made the trip over from Melbourne. We are live from the Build Insight studio in Adelaide today. We've got a special guest, Brendan from Envision Building, over on the end there. Today we're going to dive into a little bit about Brendan's journey into construction, a bit about Envision Building, how he got into the industry and where he's taken things. Brendan, welcome to the Build Insight podcast.
Thank you very much. It's very good to be here. Thanks for the invite.
Thanks for coming in, mate. Yeah, mate, you've been, I think we crossed paths a couple of years ago on our building journeys. You get to work in some pretty nice places, mate. You want to tell everyone about your business and where you're located and how you got going?
Yeah. So we're in the south of Adelaide. We're about 40 minutes from the CBD, straight down the freeway, which is good. The Fleurieu Peninsula is where I basically grew up my whole life, and it's where we run Envision Building now. So a little place called Wollonga, and yeah, we focus on custom homes, anything from renovations, extensions, new homes. Pretty similar to the space that you guys in. Yeah, that's a bit about Envision. I've just got nervous all of a sudden.
That's all good,
start
mate.
talking and I get nervous.
This is Brendan's first time being on a podcast, so it's exciting times that the first one's on the Build Insight podcast. But, mate, obviously, like Wollonga is an absolutely beautiful part of the world. Anyone that's been down there can definitely vouch for that. Let's go right back to the start of your journey. How did you get into the industry? Did you have parents that were builders, mates, any family members started as a chippy, or how did your journey kick off?
Nah, I'm pretty much the first one of the family in the building industry. My uncle, I do say that, but my uncle was a chippy. I'm pretty sure he did pergolas and stuff like that. So first builder in the family. And it probably, if we go right back, I think it was year 10. I actually wanted to be a pilot, not a builder. Wow. So building wasn't even on my radar. And I suppose I just sort of looked into exactly what I needed to do to become a pilot, and I thought differently. So I changed my mindset.
Commercial pilot or what style?
Yeah, it was a commercial pilot. Yeah. So I can't remember the exact story, but I've got a family member who was in the Air Force, I think, or something like that. The Australian version of that, is that?
Yeah,
don't quote me on that, but yeah, something like that. So, yeah, I ended up getting a whole heap of information from him about what I needed to do to go down that path, and I thought, nah, there's probably something else that I could go down. Yeah. So
you didn't start doing any flying hours or anything like that?
No, I didn't do any flying hours, unfortunately. But now I'm looking back and I'm like, geez, I kind of wish I have moments of, I wish I did that. But yeah, so it was stemmed from that point where the following year in year 11, we did a doorways to construction course, which was every Friday, or I can't remember exactly the days, but it might have been term 2 and term 3, where every Friday we went to TAFE and did some building.
So that'd
trades.
be kind of like, I don't know about SA, but is that like the route of a pre-apprenticeship kind of thing?
Yeah, pretty similar. Yeah,
I think so. That's
yeah, it is.
Kind of certificate 2 sort of stuff, is it?
I reckon. I don't know if I think it was its own individual certificate, doorways to construction. I don't know if it's still a thing anymore. But yeah, that was just at TAFE every Friday. We basically built some little portable homes. Got to try out all different trades. At the end of year 11, I tried with a bathroom renovation company, tiling. So tiling was going to be my trade, and ended up just missing out an apprenticeship through those guys. They ended up giving it. There was 2 of us that they could have given the apprenticeship to. They opted to go for the guy that was finishing year 12 rather than me, and they said, look, go back to year 12, finish your school, and then you can make that decision. Year 12 came by and I ended up I don't know how it came about, but I just started my carpentry apprenticeship through MBA literally the week after I finished school. So, so that's where carpentry kicked off. I started with, I've had an absolute blank here, a commercial company for the first 3 months. So we worked in town and it really wasn't my thing. I wasn't really that interested in commercial work. And then the beauty about being with the MBA is they can chop and change you with a different employer. So 3 months in, I went to a residential builder who I spent the rest of my apprenticeship with, and he basically taught me everything that I know through my apprenticeship. He was really good. He was hard, made us work really hard. But that's a good learning curve, really, isn't it? So from there, once I finished that, my apprenticeship, I worked with a few guys who just punched out homes on project homes for project builders. Didn't really last too long with those guys because I was more from a custom home background, so I didn't have the speed behind me to make it with those guys. So that didn't last too long, maybe 6 months, 9 months, something like that. But found a really good place down in Yankalilla. We were actually talking about Yankalilla just before we jumped on. With a custom home builder down there, spent about 8 years with him. We basically had a small group of a small crew that pretty much did the whole build. So that's where I learned excavations, steel reo, concrete, obviously carpentry, exterior claddings, roofings, everything for the whole house. And that's where I got my experience. And the end of 2019, I think it was, he wanted to go down a different direction with his business and basically have contractors rather than employees. So it was no better time to start Envision Building. And that's when I pretty much started as a sole trader, and lost my train of thought there. But basically doing decks and pergolas, helping mates out with framing, just doing the odd jobs here and there. And 3 or 4 years ago, I think we landed our first renovation job, and it's been upwards from there. So
amazing, mate.
There you go. Interesting.
For over 130 years, Bowen's has been the builder's choice, providing a service that provides timber, hardware and innovative building products.
And now we're helping you further with this wonderful partnership.
We're proud to announce Bowen's as our new premier sponsor, bringing you more of the insights that you love. Build insight together with Bowen's.
Real people,
Real insights.
Back on the touching point, doing a bit of volume kind of work, and it wasn't for you. It's an interesting part of the industry because our custom built homes completely different to like a volume built production, like fast, or they're not making any money. But I did the same route, Brendan, with myself. I didn't do any of that volume work. But you don't necessarily learn the pace as much as the guys who might be full-time framers, working off a square metre rate. Do you think there's a bit of that industry that it does become an advantage to do that early in your apprenticeship to kind of maybe learn a bit of pace about it? You can kind of tell the guys who have done it and who haven't, because they might frame completely a lot faster.
Absolutely.
It's all repetition.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely got its benefits for sure. For me, it definitely wasn't the path that I wanted to go down, but to have that experience and see, maybe I could work a little bit harder than what I was. Like, I don't think I was ever a slouch back in my apprenticeship days. Like, we were still pushed, but it wasn't a, gun to the head type thing. Yeah. Cut this as quick as you can. It was more so, I want you to move with some pace, but I want you to make sure it's right. Yeah. Whereas with the volume guys, it's more along the lines of,
I want you to move fast and just hurry up.
I'll always remember this story. Like, we were on one job, and I don't know if I'd been with them for long, but I was cutting noggins for a wall frame or whatever, and I remember him coming over to me, and I won't mention any names, but he just came over to me and he was like, "You're not effing cutting these quick enough. Get on your bike and start cutting them quicker." And it's like, mate, it's a 3 metre length of timber. Like, I'm going to save 5 seconds if I cut these any quicker. Like, is that what it comes down to? And that's just an example of, what they're like. And it's understandable, because if they build a house in a week or a day, like, they're still getting the same money, so they got to punch them out, don't they?
Yeah.
I'm definitely down the route of quality over quantity in every facet of life. But I think, you can see that it comes down to the individual too. Like, you got to have someone who maybe has a bit more care to them. We all move different speeds and so forth anyway. Yeah. But no, it's an important part of the industry. I think there's a massive difference between residential custom built homes and residential volume built homes. Yeah.
I like what you touched on about the you thought you wanted to be a pilot before a chippy. That's actually, I mean, completely irrelevant, but just a personal thing for me. I've actually had on my whiteboard above my computer, I've got a 2025 goals list. Right at the bottom of the list is actually light aircraft license. I've got this real thing now. I just want to go and do a few hours, and it'd be nice one day to be able to fly a plane. And definitely not in a commercial sense, but what about?
Sorry, it's funny you mentioned that, because I've just had a potential client who's flown Qantas planes for forever, and he's late. I think he might be. Actually, I won't try and guess his age, because I don't want to offend him if he's listening. But he's on the back end of his career flying planes, and it actually sparked the interest a little bit more again, because in our initial meeting, we actually sat down for about an hour, and we just ended up chatting about planes and flying and all that sort of stuff. It was really interesting.
Two for one deal.
Yeah, that's right.
I
think we had Heath from Sam I Am on last year, last year. He started doing helicopter hours, and I said, "What are you doing building, mate? You're flying choppers around." But
put the trusses up with a chopper.
That'd be all right, wouldn't it? Bloody hell.
Brendan, what about? I guess that you made that jump, going from contract carpenter or whatever, getting into like being a builder. Is there some projects in the early days that really defined and really shaped the direction that you wanted to go?
I suppose it's just been a bit of a gradual burn, really. It's not really a set project that's sort of set me off down the path of, this is the way I want to go.
Do you still remember the first project that you did on your own as a builder?
Yeah, I do. And it wasn't a good one. It was a good job, but it turned out the ending wasn't great. And that's probably just a little bit of my inexperience at that stage, I reckon, that I got a bit of a learning.
Was that more business related, or like building experience on handling the process?
Probably, it's a touchy subject. I don't want to say too much because it's probably a bit of both, I reckon. Yeah. It was just the way we outlined the contract and the wording that we used in it, and or didn't use in it. The lack of information that we had in it probably hurt us in the end, where we didn't have a leg to stand on. I'll always remember our first project.
Yeah, I mean, you're always learning along the way. When we all have failures as people and businesses and builders, so you've got to take those out, and you have. Like, we've connected through building coaching groups and so forth, mate. So was that a real big push for you to go, I need to find some ways to find some skill sets I don't have?
Definitely, yeah. It changed. It changed the coaching platforms that I was looking for. Early days, because I was just a sole trader contractor, 19, 20-ish, I basically had a coach guide me through running the business for a sole trader and the purpose of a sole trader.
So you started coaching back that early, when you were like 19, 20 years old.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I suppose that comes from like sporting background, where you've always got someone to teach you what to do and how to, in that instance, play the game. Yeah. So I just sort of took that philosophy into building and got some help very early days, just around, one of the main ones was how the hell do you price a job? Yeah. You go from just working as a contractor or an employee, and you go, I know nothing about how to price up jobs, apart from doing the odd job on weekends and stuff like that. You don't really know exactly what you need to be charging, do you? I engaged a business coach early days, almost, I don't know if it was day one or not, but very early on. And when I changed to going down building renovations or extensions and new homes and stuff like that, I sort of needed someone who was going to guide me in that space rather than sole trader, because they may not seem too different, but I think when you look down into the details, they can be fairly different, like sole trader to a company. So went on to the next coach. Was paying quite a bit for not much in return, was my thought. And then, we jumped on to Live, Life, Build, where I first met you guys, and now we're on to another platform as well in Future Builder. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
Following each other along the road.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, sticking tight.
Dino, so I rocked up to site last week, got scratch bench tops, paint all over the windows.
Let me guess, Lukey. No good?
No good. And now we're spending big bucks trying to fix it.
Mate, Goop Guys roll on a thick, peelable, protective coating that saves your surfaces.
And your budget.
And your sanity, Lukey.
Seriously, check them out. goopguys.com.au. Protect your job from the start.
But I think that's a really great analogy to use with, I'm big on, you can take a lot out of sport and put it into life and business. And you probably haven't thought of it like that before, to be honest, mate. You play sport or anything really, martial arts, the whole works. You've got a coach.
There's always someone to teach
but
you.
we get to business, or we get along, like someone might do university and they've got a lecturer, but you're going to take the next step.
Yeah.
There's other people out there who've been there, done that, try and walk in their shoes and,
That's right,
learn along the way.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's how far would you get in sport without a coach?
Who's gonna
Probably
keep you
not very
in
far.
shape?
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
Tell us, Brendan, let's go a little bit into Envision Building, where, what's the philosophy behind, what are you doing? How's it grown since day one? How big's your team? Tell us a little bit about your business structure.
Yeah, we've gone from, we're still doing similar work to the first project that we got. Along the way, we've definitely had increases in build size for sure. When we first started, it was basically me, and I've been very lucky. I've had one guy with me basically the whole time, and that's since we started in building homes. Kane's his name. He's been really good. I got him on basically when we started that first project that I mentioned before, and he's still with me today.
You put him through his apprenticeship?
No, so he'd done his apprenticeship. He worked for a small local builder who did do a lot of work for those project homes, but also touched into the custom home space as well. So he had he was really quick, but he just needs to learn the quality, which over the few years he definitely has. And he's I don't know where we'd be without him for sure. And he's basically our lead hand on site now. We've had a few guys come and leave us, as I'm sure everyone has. And we've brought it right back to Kane, who's leading on site, and then 2 apprentices. We've got a 3rd-year apprentice at the moment he's an adult apprentice, and I actually favour adult apprentices over the younger apprentices now. You just get them when they're a little bit more mature. He's been really good, and he's probably the reason why we opted to go down the path of getting another apprentice rather than trying to find a contractor, just because he's really switched on, and the two older guys really get along. So just a small team, but seems to be working.
That topic comes up a lot, about adult apprentices versus younger apprentices, and what for you do you find successful
In terms of
having an adult apprentice versus someone straight out of school with no experience?
Yeah, look, well, he didn't have any experience, so there's not much we can compare with that. But I think it's just a big mental game when you're young, isn't it?
It's life experience, I think, is the biggest difference.
For sure.
Yeah.
So I think he was 23 when he started, 22, 23. So he was right on the cusp of a youth or adult apprentice. He was married. He didn't have a kid on the way, but he was in that sort of family mindset. So he was just a bit more switched on, I think. I'm not saying that all young kids aren't switched on. There's definitely kids out there that are born to be builders or they really want to be that. But he was just, he just switched on. He's got a Christian background, so he's not a real big party animal on the weekend. Well, he doesn't seem like it anyway, but so you're getting Monday to Friday out of a dedicated apprentice. Like, it just sets a good platform for them to actually learn.
I think that's like probably a bit more of a society thing. We're expected to go through school and know your career, get into a job, uni, whatever, and then get on with it. But there's nothing wrong with not knowing what you want to do when you're that age. Go try something else. And, I suppose for people out there, come in and if you're not liking what you're doing, give a trade a go.
Yeah.
There's a shortage in it. It's just a matter of having the right attitude, being willing to work, and having a crack.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's all we want to see as employers. Realistically,
You can definitely tell with him that he's switched on and he wants a future in the building game. He started his Cert 4 in his third year of apprentice.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
He's basically through all of his modules in trade school, and he's got almost 2 years to go. So he's If he wasn't like this, we probably wouldn't have went down the path of getting another apprentice. Mm-hmm. We would have kept trying to find that contractor that fits in.
Yep. Tell us a bit more about Envision, mate. Want to really dive in and get a bit more of a picture on you. What separates you from other builders in your area?
Yeah. I think it's probably mostly, I reckon it's probably just the size that we're at.
Yep.
I think you get more of for our clients, you get more of a intimate experience with us, I reckon. I think that's probably what sets us apart. Like, how do I put this? Like, we got such a small team that you're actually dealing with the business owner, me, pretty much every day on site. Like, I'm the project manager, I'm the director. We just signed up a VA, which has been a massive help. So she takes care of everything back in the office while frees me up to go around and project manage. So my eye for detail is still going over everything that happens on site, and that connection between the clients and Envision Building is through me. So I just feel like that sets a good foundation for, the builds turning into quality and how I see things going to be, and I can keep track of quality on site. We emphasize that we're going to give a quality product, but funnily enough, it's not one of our core values, quality. We see quality as all of our core values, and that's the end result. It's just I
like that, mate. So when you've gone through from a few years ago having a bit of a tough project off the mark, what did you do to put in place so that you could find that balance between being the builder, the person on site, the supervisor, the guy on the tools, to then being the businessman, running a business, marketing, employing,
it's a big change.
What's some of the core values there you put in place for yourself?
Core values. Our business values are transparency, honesty, reliability, team, and growth. And like I said before, giving those values to our client in turn gives you quality. Now I've completely lost the question.
That's right. And then you've basically to find that balance between being the builder and then being the businessman.
Yeah. So like early days, the first few jobs, it was just me and Kane punching out work, and then I'd be ducking off every now and then to go meet potential clients or grab materials and all that sort of stuff. And it just in order for you to grow, you can't keep doing that. So the big change was finding someone else, another contractor to work on site, which freed me up to do the business side of things. And from there, basically that was what my turning point was, where I needed more help behind the scenes, and that was probably a bit around the time that I joined Live Life Build. And then you start learning all those processes and systems that you can implement in your business to make things to become that businessman, and just trying to delegate items that you probably don't need to keep track of is probably one of the big things, because it just takes stuff off your plate. The client inquiry form is a big one, so that they actually go through a whole process before they they get your number or you actually deal with them. So yeah, I don't know if I've answered your question there, but yeah.
We are absolutely thrilled to announce that Circus Studio are coming on board as a major sponsor and supporter of Build Insight. Circus Studio is Australia's leading interior design centre. If you're an architect, building designer, interior designer, builder, or just looking to build your dream home, you need to make a time and come in and check out the space here in Port Melbourne. This space holds every element that you'll possibly need to design your dream home.
Question there, but
no, definitely, mate. I think when you work through that, you started just dabbling in there to technology as well, like getting a virtual administrator role, filling it. What's some of the things you've gone down the road with building software and tech to help out with your roles? And
so the VA is, we've only had her for probably a couple of months now, I think. And it's probably up front. It's probably increased my workload just for the time being until we get her into our systems and processes and start learning the software that we're using behind the scenes. But I can definitely see how it's going to turn out in the long run. So she's a massive help. In terms of software, our main one's Wonderbuild. I think both of you guys are on Wonderbuild now, and that's been a massive game changer. Improvement to our business for sure. It's just it's almost a one-stop service, isn't it? Software online runs all of our jobs. We also use a CRM for all of our pre-construction process and handover and maintenance as well. And that's been massive just to keep track of what's happening, pre-construction, so you don't lose those clients early days. You're always you're constantly keeping in touch with them. If you're writing it on a whiteboard and it gets rubbed off, and then you go, oh, shit, what happened to that client? I can't remember. And then you miss $1 million job or whatever. So the software that we run's been a massive help as well.
Yeah. You give James a plug with Automation
King. Yeah, that's right. He's been
James,
unreal.
we're looking for another sponsor.
No, it's if you don't, I don't know, if you don't have something like that in your business, then you definitely got to look down the path of having some sort of CRM for sure. It's been a massive help.
It does kind of like amazing lot of legwork with and it's. Look, it's hard to say this if you've got a client listening. It's almost like we're trying to not deal with the client and not have that phone conversation. But from a business point of view, you could have like 100 conversations without any information. It adds up to a lot of time. So it's more a matter of just creating a better streamlined service to provide them to get that through, and it's going to allow you to be more efficient.
Well, it's about
while you're running your business.
Yeah, it's about stepping in when you need to, isn't it? Like, at those crucial moments is when you need to be there. Everything else can pretty much be done automatically, can't it? If you got all your documents set up and systems and processes all set up for that process to flow on nicely, it's just
I think an important part of it as well is that initial inquiry. If they're not necessarily speaking direct to the business owner, they're going to go through that process. It's not just the client picking the builder. It's actually the builder has a process then to determine whether that client is the correct client for the builder. So it's a bit of a two-way street, I think. Brendan, let's go walk us through. So obviously, once people will get to an inquiry form, whether that's on your website or wherever it is, can you walk us through a bit of the Envision process? So someone wants to approach and build with you.
Yep.
How do they go about it?
Yeah, so like you said, basically through our website is the initial step. They can add numbers up on our website and on signs and all that, so they can phone me directly as well. But basically, any sort of initial inquiry, we just say, yeah, look, I'm happy to talk to you about it. Please follow this link to submit a contact us form, and then they basically all their details get entered into our system. And I just explained to them, look, that, we could get 10 phone calls a day for inquiries. For me to make sure that I don't miss your inquiry, just go through this process, and that way your detail's in front of me. And most of them are very happy to do that. And then, so they basically do the contact us form on our website. They'll get put into our system. They'll then get sent an application form. They'll fill out that application form, and as soon as they submit that, they'll get a link to book a call for a chat with me, and that's basically where things kick off. And we just run through their project really in that first initial call, see what they're all about, run through their application form, just to make sure that all their information's lining up, and we think that we're going to be able to help them. If there's any sort of queries or what, we ask them straight up. We're big on transparency, so everything's out on the table basically from that first phone call. And if for whatever reason you don't like what we got to say, then we basically say that's okay as well. The process works, so we stick to it. And once that phone call's done, if we're all happy, then we send them another link to book an on-site meeting, and basically we just describe our process from there, and hopefully get them signed up to our pre-construction process. Yeah. Yep.
All right, guys, that brings us to the end of part 1 of episode 46. If you want to find out more about Build Insight, head over to the website, buildinsite.com.au. Over on the website, you'll find links to previous podcast episodes, as well as links to our YouTube channel, Instagram, and Facebook. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Catch you on the next one.
We just need to say a massive thank you to our sponsors and supporters. Without them, Build Insight wouldn't be possible. So to Bowens, Circus Studio, Wonderbuild, Goop Guys, Calorie Building, and Backman Builders, thank you very much. We look forward to seeing you again next week.
Let's cue the disclaimer. I need to let you know that myself and the Build Insight team are in no way, shape or form qualified to give you personal or specific business advice. We strongly encourage you seek out the use of professionals for products or when you are making personal or business decisions. Everything discussed during the Build Insight podcast is our own and the guest opinion and personal experience, and is of a general nature only. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Catch you on the next one.